Okay. Parallel lines, hopefully everyone knows what that is.
Oh, yeah.
Straight, they don't intersect. To show that two lines are parallel, they put little arrows on them. If you see that, that means they're parallel. In the book, they shade them in, but it doesn't matter, you just gotta have arrows on them. The abbreviation for parallel, so you don't have to write the word all the time, you guys remember what it is?
PLL.
Two slanted lines like that.
Or.
Remember what perpendicular is?
T.
Upside down T,
Nice.
instead of writing the word perpendicular. Skew lines. You've learned this before, probably forgot. Anyone remember what skew lines are? Skew lines don't intersect, just like parallel lines, but aren't parallel. So they don't intersect, but they're not parallel.
How does that work?
So what if that's intersect sometimes?
Can anyone think of, Noah's got it. No, it's lines that go on forever.
They're on different planes.
They're on different planes. If you took like this line right here and a line on the floor running this way, they would never intersect, but they're not running the same direction.
Right.
So they're not parallel. Can everyone visually understand that? Okay. Parallel planes, that's obvious, like the floor and the ceiling are parallel planes. A transversal. Again, you've learned this in 8th grade, probably forgotten it. A transversal is when you have at least two lines, maybe 3 or 4. We usually just deal with 2. And you've got a line cutting through them. That is called a transversal. If you transverse something, that means you cut across it, so that's why it's called a transversal. Okay? So now we get into all these things that we've talked about before. In this first section, the lines aren't going to be parallel, but for the rest of the book, we deal with parallel lines. So, we've got a transversal cutting through 2 lines, forms 8 angles. Right? When they label these lines in the pictures like this,
Yeah.
they call this like line L, line M, line N, like that. They use lowercase letters to label a line. So, in this picture, the corresponding angles, this is the one that's used most often. And again, this isn't just today's lesson. This is like the distance formula. You're going to use it a lot throughout the whole year. You need to know these for the rest of the year. It's part of probably 50% of what we do the rest of the year. Corresponding just means same position. So in this picture, the corresponding angles, what corresponds to angle 1? 8. Top left, top left. 2 and 7. 4 and 5, 7 and 6. Okay? Alternate exterior angles. Exterior is all of these angles inside the 2 lines are interior angles because they're inside the 2 lines. So these outside are exterior.
So like 1, 2, 5, 6.
Yep, 1, 2, 5, and 6 are exterior angles. So when it says alternate, that means they alternate sides of the transversal. So angle 1 and angle what would you think is
Angle 1 and angle 5.
angle 6? 1 is on the left side, 6 is on the right side.
What if you had 3 parallel lines? Which ones would be the exterior ones?
Depends upon which 2. You only look at 2 lines at a time.
Because we had that worksheet and that's what I had to have
Mhm.
And
So, all it is if they've got 3 lines, they also had 2 transversals, I think. Okay, if they're talking about 14, there's 2 possible exterior angles, alternate exterior. 6 would be, because then you just disregard this, because it's these 2 lines, or 2 would be, if you're disregarding the middle line. Okay, alternate interior angles then, if you know what alternate exterior, you can figure out alternate interior. These are the interior angles. So if I say angle 4, what does the alternate interior?
That would be 5, 7.
7. 4 is on the left side, 7's on the right side. They alternate sides. So then the other set is 3 and 8. Okay? This next one, the books, some books call it consecutive interior like this one. Other books call it same side interior. Which I always call it, and actually it's easier to abbreviate. Same side interior, you can just go SSINT. Same side interior. When we take the test and they tell you what to name it, I list them both, so you can pick whichever one you want to use to call it. But same side interior or consecutive means in a row, would be 3 and 7 are same side. Does that make sense? Same side of the transversal. Or 4 and 8 are on the same side of the interior. Make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even see they had it written here. They mean the same thing. It's just like I said, some books use this, some books use that.
Wow. You need
So in this picture, we're just gonna name answers to the questions. Name a line parallel to AG.
Yes.
That contains point C, which is right there.
Wait, is that
CI.
CI. Right there. That's an I right there in case you can't see. Okay. Perpendicular to AG. That contains point B. So what line would be perpendicular to AG that contains point B?
BA?
BA, right there. Skew to AG that contains C. So remember what skew means? Doesn't intersect, but not parallel. This one has more than one answer.
Right. A and G.
Right.
A and
So it's got to be skewed to this line containing C.
E and D.
CD.
CD.
CD would come up like this, and it wouldn't touch that line. What's another one that would work? Or CD is this way, I'm sorry. BC would also work, right?
Down.
Now, something to think of is you don't always have to use the lines that are actually drawn in here. You could use line CK. Even though it's not drawn in the picture, a line could go through those two and it would be skewed to that. Or you could use line CE. All right? Then D, a plane that contains C and appears to be parallel to plane AFL. So AFL is this rectangular piece of the hexagon right there. So which one would appear to be parallel to that?
CDJ.
CDJ or I. Remember when you're naming a plane, you only use 3 letters. So CDJ or any 3 of these 4 you would use. So in this picture, you got like a triangular block.
Right.
It's a triangular prism. Parallel to PQ containing S.
This S.
Line ST. Perpendicular to PQ containing S. SP. Skew to PQ containing S. SU. Or you could say SR. That wouldn't touch it. Name a plane that contains S and appears to be parallel to plane PQR.
Plane
SUT. Okay? So, parallel lines. This is actually two constructions that we're going to do later. If there is a line, so just starting from scratch, they're saying if you've got a line and a point that's not on the line, can be anywhere. How many lines could I draw through that point that would be parallel to this line?
One.
Just one. The only line would be right there. That would be parallel to it. It's just common sense. That's why it's a postulate. Postulates don't need to be proved because they're just common sense. Okay, this is the same type of deal. If you've got a line and a point not on the line, how many lines could I draw that are perpendicular to this? Just one, right there. So this is like what we did on your worksheet. You had to name what the angles were. So in this picture, the corresponding angles are 1 corresponds to 5. Corresponding is same position. Top left, top left. 2 corresponds to 6, top right, 4 and 8, 3 and 7. Corresponding. Alternate exterior. Exterior are the outside ones. These two and these two. So 1 and what?
6, 7.
Are alternate. 7. 1's on top, 7's below. So then the other set is 4 and 6. Alternate interior are the inside ones. So 2 and 8, alternate sides, 5 and 3. Consecutive interior, which is the same as same side interior. 2 and 5 are on the same side, 3 and 8 are on the same side. So, that's the other part of your assignment today is you'll have a picture, they'll give you some angles, you gotta say what type they are. Say whether they're corresponding, which you can just write CORR. Alternate exterior, which you can go Alt-Ext. Alternate interior, Alt-Int. And consecutive interior, you can put consecutive interior if you want, or you can just go same side interior, which is shorter. So, 9 and 11 are what type?
Alternate interior.
Alternate interior. They're both inside, so that kind of cuts it down for you. It's either got to be alt-int or same side interior. And they're not on the same side. 6 and 10. Corresponding. Top right, top right. 8 and 11.
The corresponding interior.
Same side interior. They're both inside and they're on the same side. Remember, a corresponding, one of them is going to be outside, one's going to be inside. One will be exterior, one will be interior. 7 and 13, alternate exterior.